Subscribe to my YouTube channel and click the bell icon for the latest film interviews, features, and recommendations on the movies that matter. Kirti Suresh, how are you, Kirti? How are you doing? And what degree of normalcy have you been able to return to, Kirti?
I think this is the new normal, isn't it?
It is, in a sense, yeah.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I think I've been doing good. How have you been doing?
I'm not bad. I have to say, one has been able to work through this, and I think that if you're able to work through it, then you feel some degree of normalcy. But I noticed that you completed a shooting schedule of your new film. What is that like? I mean, shooting in these times, and surely with many restrictions in place.
Yeah, there were a lot of restrictions. You need to, as soon as you land, you take a test in the next 3 days. Sanitization. You need to have masks, shield. All technicians need to keep sanitizing, and you have all that makeup on, and you have your mask on. But it was a little difficult in the beginning, the first few days. I think like for a week, and then I think mask is just an accessory. You just got used to it. So,
but is it strange, Kirti? The shooting process and the whole business of making movies is such an intimate process, no? I mean, it's so much about being together. I mean, was it strange just seeing director with mask on, cameraman with mask on? I mean, in a sense, the actors are the only ones who on the set are not wearing the masks.
Yeah. Unfortunately, actors are more exposed in shooting sets. But so that's what, even before going to shooting, I used to think like we're going to be exposed too much. But like I said, like after a week, this is like an accessory. And once you get in the zone, I think you're just in the flow. You just don't come out of it. So you just go talk. And then when you get out of the set, you wear your mask. So it's just become like a habit. So you can't be tensed when you're at set, I need to be you have to be careful, but can't take too much stress because that's going to show on your face, right? So, yeah.
Now, you have a new film coming out this week, Kirti. This is, of course, Miss India, and it drops on Netflix this week. It's your second release during the pandemic, which is after Penguin, which came out in June. Does it feel a little strange, Kirti, to have a movie release without, the trial shows, without the premieres, without the fan interactions that is usually part of the process? It feels like the business has changed completely, no?
Yeah, it has. But I think this is again another experimentation. This is a new platform. This is something we've not tried out, and I'm glad that we all are talking more often. I'm not sure if this would have happened if it released at the theaters. So there are advantages, there are disadvantages, but I'm happy that this is happening. Like during the lockdown, I'm glad I have a film to release, and I think my second film to release. So I'm feeling good about that.
I watched Miss India last night, and it's the story of this young woman who is determined to set up her business and succeed in a field which repeatedly she's told is not for women. It's also a story about doing what makes one happy, even if that means going against the wishes of people who care for you, but who don't think this is the right thing for you. Kirti, what were you drawn to when this film was offered to you? What was it about this story, or maybe the character that made you interested in wanting to be a part of it?
The first thing that was very, very interesting to me was that it's about chai. I'm a very chai person in my real life, and that it's a very thin line, right? It's a war between chai and coffee. It sounds so sweet, but you know what? Like, so that's the thought that got into me, and I thought this is something very interesting. Like we've not explored this before. We should do it. That's one thing. And yeah, the fact that she's from a middle class family, she goes all the way to a coffee dominated country, and she establishes chai over there. So she's doing, and this is something which the probably the entrepreneur in me always wanted to do, like go and establish something which is not very reputed in that place. So, so I think I could connect to Samyukta in a few places, and yeah, becoming an entrepreneur. It sounded so cool, and yeah, being a chai person, I think I just love the whole concept of it. Chai versus coffee.
I was going to ask you this whole chai because you're right. That is one part of the film. It's this whole debate between chai and coffee. Now, of course, we know that Samyukta is a chai person, but are you also sort of loyal to tea over coffee?
I am a loyal chai person. I used to be a coffee person. I'm like, see, like I'm from a Tambram family. Yeah. My mom's from a Tambram family. I think in a Tamil Brahmin family, we start having filter coffee at the age of 2 or 3. It's like water to us. But I eventually changed to chai. I don't know why I changed to chai, and I am a chai addict, and at this point of time when I heard such a script, I thought it's very nice. See, that essence of it, not everybody understands. Like when I signed the film and a few people asked me what's it about, I said it's about chai. It's about chai versus coffee, and a few people were like, what, chai? How can you make chai? I mean, they just didn't understand the feel of it. But now when they watch the trailer, they're like, okay, now we get it. So I think I had foreseen that before when I heard the script, and yeah, that kind of has a personal connect to it. I have an entrepreneur in me, I have a chai person in me, and
although on World Coffee Day you did put up a post saying tea is what warms my soul every day, but you can't take Chennai out of me. There's always a love for a cup of coffee.
Yeah, I did. So I did not let go my chai even there.
But in fact, when I was watching the film, those opening shots, of the spices being ground and the tea being made, I have to say, I'm not a big tea person, but when you look at that, it tests your loyalty for coffee. It kind of, it's so seductive, those shots, that for a moment I'm like, maybe this is what it is. But Kirti, when you're reading scripts or deciding what films to do you find yourself being drawn to characters that you can relate to, characters that you understand, characters whose choices make sense to you? Or do you find yourself fascinated by the challenge of playing someone who's so far removed from you that would be interesting to explore? Can I become this woman whose choices I don't necessarily agree with, whose life, whose world I don't necessarily find familiar? What is more exciting, or what do you find yourself responding to more?
I think a bit of both. I think there has been a connect with every character that I've been doing. Like, it's not, I don't think a character can completely stand away entirely different from what you are. There should be, one or two attributes that are the same. And I think, like I said, like with Samyukta, I have a chai connect, and she has a connect with her grandfather. I have a connect with my grandmother. We have a chai connect, and there must be some things in common. So that apart from that, and yes, of course, how the character is different, a character that I've not done before, I've not explored before. How different can this be from what I've done previously? So like I like to put it in a very simpler way, I don't think I've done so many Western outfits in a film before. So this is something new for me, to carry myself like in a very mass moment and these mass dialogues. So like these are dialogues when the director told me these are mass dialogues, so I used to think like, okay, can I pull this off? Can I do this? But now when I'm seeing the trailer, I'm like, okay, it's nice, and so I'm getting to see a different side of me. And believe me, I saw my trailer like some 20-30 times, because I just don't do that. You don't always enjoy yourself on screen. It's very, very rare, and only when I feel that I feel I'm a little perfect, that's when you enjoy yourself. And I think that's happened with me in Miss India. So I'm very happy about the output, how it's the whole process of this making. I've done something that I've not done before, be it the character, be it the kind of message that we're giving. I'm happy about that.
You work in Telugu, you work in Tamil, you work in Malayalam, and each industry has its own sensibility. Each kind of filmmaking has its own sensibility. How do you switch between them?
Yeah, all of them are different in their own way. Yeah. And I think a year back, I even realized how different these three languages are and how to deal with them. But it's not like if I go to a Telugu film, I need to act this way. If I go to a Tamil film, I need to act this way. It's not like that. For me, it's only about like Tamil and Telugu. Tamil and Malayalam are two languages that naturally come to me, and but Telugu is not. So that's the only restriction that I have. Like I can talk Telugu, but not very very fluently as I can in Tamil or Malayalam. So that's something I need to brush up before shoot, be it the dialogues or things like that. But I think it's more about the different kind of characters, the kind of movie that we are in. I think it's not about changing the way we act according to a particular language. It's just I'm just one person. You just do it according to characters. That's all.
But do you see your career as one career, Kirti? Or do you see yourself making choices that are, I've done 3 Tamil films, now I need to do a Telugu film. I've done, 2 Telugu films, now I need to do a Malayalam film. I mean, how do you make, when you're someone who's popular and who's loved across industries, how do you make choices? Do you have to think about that now? My Mahanati audience wants to see me do a Telugu film. So let me do Miss India right now. I mean, is that just tricky when you're loved in so many places?
It is tricky because I think I've done more of Tamil and Telugu films more than Malayalam. So after Mahanati, I had been getting a lot of offers from Telugu. So I wanted to do more Tamil films as well. So I had to balance out Tamil. Then I've started doing more Tamil films. I'm keeping it in par with my Telugu. Now I feel like I need to do a few more Malayalam films. I'm signing a few next year. So and I have one up for release also, Kunali Marekyan, Priyansa's film. So I've done a character in that. So I feel like okay, I'm still in touch with Malayalam. I need to do more Malayalam films. Yeah. So you need to like hop around and you have to make sure that you are there everywhere.
Right.
So that is.
And at some point, hopefully, you'll squeeze in one Hindi film in there.
Hopefully.
Kirti, what is the kind of pressure and responsibility that a film like Mahanati and the success and the national award that came with it, what does that bring? Especially for a young actor like yourself. I mean, what is the kind of pressure that you feel? I mean, are you able to make choices purely from gut, or do you have to think that, no, after Mahanati, maybe this is not what people, this is not what the fans will want to see me do. I mean, can you play a negative role? Can you play someone who's a really evil person? Or after, playing a national sort of icon, will that just not be something that people will take lightly?
I haven't thought about a negative role, but I'm up for experimenting anything. But there is a certain level of responsibility that comes along after you deliver a film like Mahanati. Yeah, I think I've started being very responsible after Mahanati in terms of choosing, in terms of say even getting in details into the creatives, costumes, everything. So yeah, there is responsibility, but that's there like somewhere in the back of my mind. If that's going to start troubling me in choosing my scripts, then it's not like I can't get national award for every film. It's not like I have a national award. I need to that can't happen. I mean, there is a certain level of responsibility. You need to keep that up. But the way I choose films is like it's purely from my gut, which I've always been doing. I don't discuss it with anyone. The minute how I feel about the film after the narration is all that I go with. But it's not, I will think if this film is correct for me at this point of time is what I think. I don't go back and think I have done a film called Mahanati, will this suit me? That's not what I mean, if you go back to think that, then you'll probably end up doing no movies at all. Right? So you can't go and think too much like that. But yeah, like at that point, is this the correct time to do a certain script like this? I'm up for experimenting, exploring, but negative character, I haven't thought about that. But I think Anatha film Shritai Sivasar, he was telling me, I think you should do a negative role. You'll pull it off very well. I was so surprised, and now you're asking me this question, so maybe I should try.
Yeah, who knows? The thing is, you're such a wonderful actor that I think that whatever you do, it'll come from a place of integrity. It'll come from a place of really getting into the skin of the character. So I think you'll pull off whatever you do. Thank you, Kirti. All the best, of course, for Miss India. It comes out this week on Netflix. Also, have a great Diwali. It's the festive season. I don't know what kind of Diwali we're all going to have this year, but I hope it's a wonderful year ahead for you. And I'm looking forward to seeing lots more from you, Kirti. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Happy Diwali.
Happy Diwali. Thank you.
Bye.